Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Sloane and Eric Stiggs. Having spent the entire night tending to a fussy infant Jude, the pair is worn out. Eric is still asleep while Sloane gets the baby ready for a stroll. Park. Little urchins hurling a ball at Leo wakes him from his slumber on a seat. In his dream, he was planning to exact revenge on Sloane. Harris' room. With Stephanie sound asleep behind him, Harris awakens. What on earth did he do, he wonders. Just as Stephanie wakes up, he receives a text. She surveys the area, wondering what went wrong. He has to act quickly because there has been a kidnapping of a baby. Horton Square. While Sloane is hanging out with baby Jude, she receives a call from Leo. He feels that Dimitri should be in federal jail. When Sloane asks what he wants, he replies, power and money. If she disobeys, he threatens to reveal her secret. When the call ends, Sloane remembers she left her wallet at Sweet Bits and believes it would be best to leave the infant alone while she goes to get it. Even if she's just been gone for a minute, someone could have taken off with the baby in its carriage at that time. Telling Eric what occurred, she gives him a call. When Rafe gets there, a frenzied Sloane tells him everything that happened. Eric shows there at that very moment and attempts to console her. She says she didn't want to wake the baby, and that no one was in the area at the time. They've been up all night and are tired, Eric says. When Harris gets there, he inquires as to whether anyone could have done it. Rafe and Eric were thinking the same thing. Maybe Nicole was the one. Eric calls Rafe aside. Brady Pub. Marlena and Roman are talking about their new, priceless grandchild. They question whether the new baby will contribute to Eric and Sloane's relationship stabilization. Marlena is curious about Sloane's plan for juggling parenting and her career. Eric calls her at that precise moment to inform her of the kidnapping. When Leo gets there, he sees Stephanie slinking out the back. His hand is holding onto what looks to be a baby carriage as he watches her and wonders what's going on. Harris begs him to phone if he remembers any specifics after he claims to have only touched the handle. After that, he leaves. Sloane says she needs to freshen up. Then she walks out. After promising to update Roman and Marlena, Eric walks out. Leo is apprehended by Sloane, who charges him with stealing the child. Sloane presses harder as Leo retracts any involvement. Leo claims she would have told Eric and the police everything if she were worried about the baby's safety. Leo stops Sloane as she tries to walk away, suggesting that perhaps he does know where the baby is. There's not much time left if she wants to see him again. Living room of the Demira mansion. Nicole and EJ are discussing the previous night's ash spreading. She then leaves for a stroll. EJ receives a phone alert about a missing baby after she leaves. When the doorbell rings, he discovers Rafe inquiring about Nicole. He talks about the kidnapping and claims that the child was Eric and Sloane's. Nicole is asked when she plans to return, and EJ knows that he believes her to be a suspect. He claims she's only recently begun to feel better and that she needs his alone. Nicole is not being accused of anything, claims Rafe. All he has to do is speak with her. Nicole left her phone at home, as EJ recalls, because she had a locator on her phone. EJ is confused when Rafe notices that her car is still in the drive. He is baffled as to why she left her phone behind and how she could be. Rafe gives Wendy a call to ask if she can help him find Nicole by using its skills. After that, he leaves. Park. In the park, Stephanie meets Tripp. She claims she had a difficult night and made a foolish decision. Tripp tries to have a conversation with her, but she claims her mind is still quite cloudy. She seems a little queasy, and he assumes she's probably drunk. He brings up her going back in with Steve and Kayla as they change the subject. Despite her irritation, Stephanie explains her reasons for moving back in with their parents after splitting with Chad. Salem police. When Sloane starts blaming herself, Marlena intervenes and tells her that finding the baby is what matters most. Asking her to summarize what happened in the square, Harris takes a seat. At that moment, Leo shows up with the infant and claims to have discovered it behind the Brady pub. Tripp ponders the possibility of her and Everett getting back together. Tripp advises Stephanie to take care of herself, but Stephanie is conflicted because she knows she was a mother figure to Thomas and Charlotte. She claims that during their one conversation, Chad acted like a jerk. She suddenly has a flashback of her inebriated evening when she allegedly made out with Harris, at the very least. They give each other a heartfelt hug, and Tripp walks out. When Stephanie gives someone a call, she asks if they want coffee. If there's any update on the baby, Harris asks Rafe. Rafe gives him an update on Nicole and the dubious circumstances surrounding her disappearance. In the interrogation room, Sloane paces and remembers her talk with Leo right before the kidnapping. She believes Leo stole the child in order to extort her. She feels obligated to be honest with everyone. After leaving the lobby, she runs into Eric. After entering the caverns, EJ discovers Nicole holding the infant. Everett says he needs to revise some stories. Chad says he's still keeping an eye on him, and they both agree they don't like each other. Everett is willing to take on the task, and they both genuinely feel that Stephanie is where they belong. Chad then walks out. According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Stephanie Johnson threw Chad DeMera out of her house after she learned he had gone behind her back to exact revenge on her ex. Chad committed a heinous and expensive crime. Chad went to considerable measures to have Everett Lynch fired from his position because he is envious of him. This involved forcing Xander Cook to fire Everett and purchasing Gwen Rischek's portion of the publication. An enraged Stephanie moved out after learning the truth, leaving Chad unmarried once more. He was his own greatest enemy in this situation since, although he claimed to be committed to Stephanie, he didn't want her to go to someone else. Chad needs to make some decisions and grow up a little bit. You might be shocked at what he does next. Now that Stephanie isn't available to look after Thomas and Charlotte DeMera, perhaps Chad will employ a nanny for them. In relation to Stephanie, Chad may make a swift comeback. Jada Hunter would be the ideal option, although neither Chad nor Stephanie are aware of it. Fans are aware that she is Everett's ex-wife. Even while it doesn't make perfect sense, passion rarely does. Having a brief affair with a lady who was once attached to Everett would make for strange logic in Chad's DeMera mentality. On the other hand, Chad might return to the family company, DeMera Enterprises. Considering that his forebears are significantly more dubious than he is, he has a lot to give. DeMera Stephen and DeMera Kristen. Could he perhaps impart some common sense and etiquette to them? Chad has a lot of options, one of which is to reconcile with Stephanie. Maybe Chad won't understand Stephanie as a keeper until he is dumped, but these two really have feelings for each other. But he needs to decide fast because it's obvious that Everett is missing his former partner. She might also be more inclined to forget and forgive now that she is aware that he was in a coma and didn't ghost her. Tell us, DOL fans, Chad or Everett? Who are you shipping more of? Thanks for watching if you like this video. So please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.